Okay, so today we are learning about the parts of a story. The first part of a story is the introduction. In the introduction, we learn a few things. The first thing that we learn is where are we? We need to know where our story is going to happen, and we also need to know who's there. Who are our characters, or maybe who is one character? We start to follow that character through the setting that we learn about, and that's how our story begins. Okay, this is where the things in our story are going to happen, so we have to set the stage. The next part of our story is going to be the rising action. Okay, so we follow our character through the setting for a little bit, and then suddenly they encounter a problem. And maybe there's more than one problem. There could be a whole series of problems, one after another. And we watch as the character tries to solve these problems. And as these problems are being solved, we get a rising sense of tension. It seems like there are things that are building up to some kind of conclusion or a point where everything is going to come together. So we watch them as they're solving the problems, and then eventually we reach the climax. And this is the point where everything comes together. All the problems have been building up to this one spot. The character finally has to bring everything together, and the climax usually only lasts a short time, maybe even just a split second. It's really the point of the highest action, okay, where everything comes together. And then after we find the climax, then we're going to move into the falling action. So we see the results of all the problems after they've all come together. We see what happens in the world after everything builds up to the highest point. How is all the tension relieved? How do things start to fall back into a state of normalcy? And then once everything is back together, that's the conclusion. We find out how our characters leave the story. So that's what every story has, these 5 points. And so we can look at a couple stories. So first, let's look at the Goldilocks and the Three Bears. Goldilocks and the Three Bears starts out, and there's a cabin in the forest, okay? And this little girl named Goldilocks is wandering along, and she just finds this cabin in the middle of the forest. And so that's our introduction. We know the setting, we know one character, and we know this character is just going to go into the house. So she wanders into the house, and she looks around, and right away she's hungry, so she has to solve that problem. This is the rising action. She tries out the bowls of porridge. She finds out one's too hot, one's too cold, but one's just right. So she solves the problem of her hunger by eating all the porridge. Then she decides, oh, I'm sleepy. I want to take a nap. So she tries one bed. It's too hard. Next bed, too soft. Finally, the third bed is just right. So she solves that problem and she falls asleep. But that's not the end of our rising action. We're going to keep on building the tension because the bears come home. And what do they discover? They discover that someone has gone through their porridge and they've eaten it, and they're not too happy about that. So they start to get upset. And so the tension continues to rise, right? Then they look at their bedrooms and they find somebody's messed up their beds. And finally, we find in the third bedroom that there's a little girl sleeping in the bed. So then comes the climax. They meet this girl and, they eat her. Yeah, they're just going to devour her because she's in their house. And then, they go back to their life, and Goldilocks is dead. So that's one version of the story. Let's look at a third story. This is Pixar's Lifted, okay? And this is a more recent story. It's animated by Pixar. And so here's the introduction to the whole story. And I have a little map on the left of the screen here. If you watch that, you'll see where we are in our story plot. So Pixar wants to first introduce that they made this story, so they're putting that in there. And then they're showing us the introduction by showing us the setting. Okay, so here's the setting. We see a little barn or a cabin out in the middle of the woods, or in a field, and we see that there's like a little swing on the front. There's a little bit of wind. It's nighttime. The wind's changing a little bit. And then there's a guy sleeping in his bed. And, what's this? So we have our setting, and now we're into the rising action. He's literally rising out of bed, right? He's being abducted by an alien spacecraft. And so this isn't too good for him. You know, that's going to be a problem for this guy. And so he's getting abducted. Oh, they can't get him out the window. Look at that. So the tension is still continuing to rise, right? And we meet new characters here. There's this little alien who doesn't seem to know what he's doing. And then there's this larger alien who is administering a test, it seems like. You know, he's taking notes on how this little alien is doing this whole mission. So there's more and more problems showing up, right? The tension continues to rise. This little alien has to figure this situation out or he's going to fail the test. This poor human inside the house is being abducted, so we are worried about him. And then this big alien is kind of upset because this little alien doesn't know what he's doing. And look at this. You know, we see more and more problems. This board of little knobs is impossible to read. You know, it's impossible to tell which one is the right one. This guy's not offering any help. The little alien is getting more and more nervous, and he doesn't seem to be happy. And this guy is not being abducted either. So there's so many things, so many problems in this. And the alien is not handling it very well. He is upset. This is still, as we watch, you know, there's still more and more things going wrong. Oh, he may have it. Nope, still no. Okay. What else could possibly go wrong? I mean, I'm surprised that he doesn't give up, but he's looking through the book. You know, he's trying to solve his problems in 1,000 different ways. And finally, he has it. Okay, so he's going to lift this guy. He's got him. He's looked in the book. And there's no way he could fail now, but oh, look, his butt is too big. Okay, a new problem. He can't get him out the window. He's going to try it again. Maybe if he pushes a little bit harder. Yep. Okay, so he's got him. He's got him now. Oh, no, he's stuck in a tree. So this is all part of the rising action. You know, it's all building up to something, right? So finally he's pulled from the tree and he's being lifted towards the alien spacecraft. And it seems like things are going very well. And it seems like this is what it's all building up to, right? Everything has come to this point where the little alien has abducted this man, and it seems like he's going to be successful. So there we go. We have reached our climax. That's it. Oh, and look at this. So it didn't work. He's failed it. It's beyond his saving at this point. This guy is falling. This is the falling action. The big alien steps in to save the day. He says, nope, you failed. You know, get away. He's going to push him. Yeah, there it is. So he didn't do it. The little alien didn't do it. We reached the climax, and now we're seeing the results of all of this. The big alien steps in. He's going to put everything back in order. You know, he has control of the situation. So all the tension is kind of washing away now, right? We see the world is put back into place. The big alien puts his book down and he's going to fly the spacecraft away. The little alien's sad. The big alien maybe feels a little bit sad for him too. You know, he wants to cheer him up. So we're going to see how are our characters left in the world. The big alien says, okay, you know, it's okay, you failed, but maybe you can pilot this home. The little alien's excited about this. He's going to get to do it. So they're leaving, you know, the guy's in his bed. We know where everything's at. And this is the conclusion of the story, okay? Even though the alien has failed, the world is okay. And, okay, maybe not. You know, he's crashed the spaceship again. But it's all right. You know, maybe, okay, it looks like he's still able to pilot the spaceship away. Okay, the guy is still all right, too. We're left with all this knowledge of how the people in our story are at the end of the day. And if we listen close here, we maybe get a little bit more details about this man who wakes up and he's going to find out, you know, his house is gone. And that's the end. So that's the conclusion. Okay. So I looked at a lot of work from a lot of students. Some of it is really good. Some of you went way too far, okay? Some of you have already started your book. You are not supposed to start your book. In fact, this project is supposed to last us 8 weeks, okay? So some of you who really went for it, we're gonna figure this out, okay? I don't know how exactly. Some of you didn't get books too, so this week we're gonna figure that out. Um, but yeah, so last week you were supposed to design your 2 characters. This week, what I want you to do is this, okay? We're talking about the story arc today. So I would like you to fill this out, and what I would like you to do in each of these little squares, draw just the, like, one little picture from your story. So for the introduction, you could probably draw the setting of your spot, okay? Then, the problem, draw one thing that one thing that happens during the rising action, okay? Just draw it, or you could write it out with bullet points, that's okay. Climax, you could write what the climax is. You could say what happens, it's up to you. Falling action, you could draw something that happens during the falling action. And the conclusion, right? Draw something or write about the details of the conclusion. Then once you're done with that, I'd like you to think about how to divide it up into 12 different parts, okay? So I gave you this sheet. You can draw what happens on each page and write a description of it too, okay? This is not what the page is going to look like because we're going to draw a comic for this. But I want you to start thinking about how you might divide this up into 12 parts, okay? And then we'll get further watered, or we'll kind of keep working like a funnel. Next week we're going to talk about how to do different designs, okay, for the layout of your story. So I'm going to talk to you about how to do that. But this week what I want you to do is think about what's going to happen on each page, okay? So you can write a little description of it and then draw what happens. But page 2, page 3, page 4, page 5, page 6, page 7, and of course page 8, page 9, page 10. Nope. 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay? That's what I have, okay? You've watched the videos, you should know about what these things are. If you have a question, please send me an email. I will answer it. If you want a video conference with me, we can set up a time. I would love to hear from you, okay? It would be great. I'd love to talk to each and every one of you. I'll see how we can do it. I'm already meeting with the ADSYS kids, so I'm free after 1 o'clock or before 10 every day, okay? So if you want to wake up bright and early and talk to me at 6 a.m., I will be there, okay? I'm making a pretty serious promise, but I will be there for it, okay? So let me know. I'd love to hear from all of you, but that's going to be tough too, okay? So we'll see what happens. Still, I'm excited to see these. Please work hard on them. And next week, we're going to talk about layout. And just to give you a hint of what I mean by that, I'll show you. Okay, so this is Nausicaa. It's written by Hayao Miyazaki, who did, what did he do? Princess Mononoke, Howl's Moving Castle, My Name is Totoro. He did a graphic novel too. He did 2 graphic novels for Nausicaa. This is in a manga format, so it starts over here and you read it, and it's beautiful. I will upload a copy of this to the Sejong website if you would like to read it, okay? This is like 1,000 pages, so yeah, but I can get it. I have PDFs, okay? So if you want to check it out, it's good. But what's so cool about Miyazaki is he's dividing his pages up, so he knows how to make it, lay it out, so you can read it in the right way. He's dividing it so it's not just squares. Some of his squares are angled. Sometimes there's a lot of action happening in these, so we're going to talk about how to lay these out so it's easy to read your comic next time, okay? And we're also going to talk about word bubbles and how to do all that stuff, so stay with me. Please don't get ahead. I know some of you are already way ahead. We'll figure it out. Okay. Love you all. Hope that you're safe. Hope that you're at home having a really good time and not being totally annoyed by your brothers and sisters. I know some of you are living with 12 people in your house. I'll upload some resources too to let you know maybe how to help pass the time with a huge family in one little spot. Okay. That's all I got. I'm excited to see what you guys make. Please have a good week. Please stay healthy. Go outside, okay? I know some of your parents are saying, like, you absolutely cannot go outside. It's okay to go outside, but when you're outside, don't go into, like, public spaces, okay? Don't go to the grocery store. Don't go, like, lick your friends or something like that, That's not okay. Stay by yourself, but go for a walk, jog, or something like that. You'll feel better. Okay. Take care of yourselves, and I miss you all. I'll see you later. Peace.